Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out of thanks and appreciation to Rod, Todd Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, JMails24, Unimento, M, Iron26, Endless, Flat Earth Sage, Goldie McKinnon, Retro Bill, More Books, Cannabear, Fibre Oats, Bogey, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Will Brax, Mel B. Styles, Troy Shuker, Airy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Neo the One, Rob W, Open Minded, Reese Pound, Del West Watson, Maria Neelands, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, The Real Gabster, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, Texas Mike, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Knowing all that,
I'll see where they sell these pink pills.
Hello.
I'm not telling them for sure.
Mic check. How's everything going?
Uh-oh, we got the main man.
Yeah.
That's Chinese spy right there.
We got the China spy. The Sicilian spy.
Yeah.
Neil Pellegrino.
No, my friend's name is Pellegrino. Actually, that was the name of our band, Tino Grino, because I was Cosentino, he was Pellegrino.
Pino type Grigio.
It was T-E-N-O G-R-E-E-N-O. But, it's not the way we spell it, but that's the way we did for the group. Tino Grino.
That's a water brand.
We went nowhere.
Where can we get good pizza?
I hear your partner started a water business. His business is sparkling.
There's the dad joke.
Listen, good pizzas, not just in New York. I heard some really good stuff about Arizona.
But is that Giordano's, whatever the hell it is? They like free ship them. I was about to order some today.
Well, listen, when you get it shipped,
pies,
it's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same as if you go into a pizzeria and get a slice. Let's face it.
It's called Giorgio's or some shit. It's some Chicago style. Like they ship them worldwide. Giordano's.
They have different flour over there.
Probably. All I know is that pizza was very good. We're talking mail ordered freeze dried pizza, and it was the best pizza I've ever had.
My brother makes it in his garage. He's got a little pizza oven. He makes the dough like a couple of nights before, and then he just pumps them out throughout the day. Not full size that you get in a pizzeria, but more like a little bigger than a personal one. And he just pumps them out.
That's like saying a guy on a fishing boat catches ahi, cuts it up, puts cilantro, lime, and has sushi right then and there. That the one guy that does that freezes it, sends it after a couple of weeks. That's the best sushi he's ever had. I think the guy who caught it and had it right there had the best sushi.
I didn't want to say nothing.
Probably.
Ben. Come on. You
You
got
got to get it out of a pizza oven. At the minute it comes out of a pizza oven, that is the best.
And it's gonna be over 500 degrees. The oven. It's gotta be like 600 to 700 degrees.
They're expensive
my
too.
friend-
It's like $70.
Oh gosh, save your money.
Listen, you're better off making your own dough and doing a pizza in your house. It's not hard. Just watch a few videos. At least it'll be more fresh.
No, no, those pizzas are pretty damn good. For $70, you get two of them. I think it was like 60 when I ordered two of them shipped to your house. They're pretty big.
That's
Man, those
insane.
pizzas are good.
What do you mean $70 for two pizzas?
Yo, Eli,
What are
we
you
gotta go
talking
in.
about?
Eli, we gotta go in business. Then, if that's what they're paying for it, let's make some pizzas and
Yeah,
freeze them and send them to suckers.
we
The
gotta
reason
get
it's
David on this. He's delivering. What? $70? Yo,
Eli, it's very simple. You
Eli's
can
bugging
sell.
out.
No, Eli, it's very simple. You target flat earthers. You sell them flat pizzas, and you can charge anything you
flat
want.
pizza. Ooh, wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be
Damn.
good? Like a gimmick of flat Earth, and like have it a pizza, make it a whole thing. Like Domino's has the domino. What if we had the flat Earth thingy, and just have little stupid little fun facts on the box? The 5
Even
questions on the
better.
box.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's Flat Earth Society.
No, even
Flat
better.
Earth pizza.
Say we can't make glow pizzas. You'll have to settle for an elevation angle flat Earth pizza.
yeah.
Is there any evidence of glow pizza? There you go. Earth is
Yeah,
flat.
nobody wants a round pizza, right? Hey, I
Well,
just
pizza
found
is
that,
round.
guys. I'm starving.
Round is a pizza, 2-dimensional.
Not Sicilian.
Excuse me, guys.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Don't you interrupt our
Uh-oh.
pizza pie time. Don't you dare.
Well, I just
What do
thought
you
we
got,
were on
Humble?
dangerous territory because we were accused of believing that flat Earth is a pizza pie floating in space. You guys are in dangerous territory here.
That's
We're
a
making
crusty
business.
argument.
Yeah. We go where
Sorry?
the dough is,
Pizza.
Humble. We go where the dough is.
Nice.
Okay. All
There's a
right.
lot of listen. There's a lot of meat on it.
There you go.
Gotcha. Okay. Just in
Yeah,
case
see,
anybody
flat
wondered
earthers
in,
can
they
have
may say,
fun.
see, they do believe in pizza-shaped Earth.
Well, listen, flat earthers can have fun. That's all it proves. We can laugh at all the things that they accuse us of and still be full because we eat it.
And how many times have they told us the pizza joke, right? Oh, you think it's a pizza? And finally, we will say, yes, it's a pizza. How many would you like?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
thinking about. Speaking of that, I was thinking about what Chocolate said the other day. Nathan or Chocolate about the boats going over the edge, but not the water.
That was definitely me.
The
What
crusty
about
edge?
that?
Is it the crusty
I
edge?
thought that was obvious. I thought that was an obvious thing.
Yeah,
by
but
the
I
way
never,
water
I never
behaves.
thought of it till he brought it up.
But when the horizon is
Edge of Earth.
beyond Earth curve, and the water, and the horizon is defined by the sky meeting the water, what do you think that all says there?
I know, but like when somebody says it, you're like, duh.
Well, yeah, it's just duh.
Is Nathan here?
Yeah, I'm here.
I mean, if the
Hey.
Earth is flat, they're like, if the Earth is flat, you can see forever. And then we're like, but look how far you can see. Yeah, that means it's the globe. What?
Oh, you know the biggest size pizza you can order at my new Flat Earth restaurant? They're Mercator
Does
size.
it got an R value? Does it have an R value?
Mercatus, he said Mercatus. That's a big
Would
Yeah,
you
pizza.
like
that's
a
a square
Gleason?
pizza.
Would you like a would you like a small Gleason
Which longitude would you
with
like?
some R? Which longitude? With some R sauce, marinara sauce, is R value sauce.
You know, this is fun to kid around. It's the Globers can't do this.
I mean, would you like a small Gleason? Yo, first
Yeah.
of all, the more you guys joke, the more I'm like, actually, this would be a
I
pretty
knew it.
good pizza shop.
I'm
That's what I
telling you,
said
to
don't
you.
you
real.
fucking steal from me.
You're right,
I
dude.
agree.
You're not.
Steal it.
I'm definitely. This is my word. In the next maybe 5 years, hopefully less. We'll see
Flat
how
Earth
much
pizza.
energy and willpower I have to change. I am going to open up a Flat Earth pizza shop.
I like it.
I'm telling you.
Listen, my brother already makes it. We could get this thing going. He's the one that told me about flat Earth. He's the one that
the
makes the
box will have a
pizza.
bunch
We
of
got to
fun
throw
facts
this
on it.
idea to him, and all do it.
The
We'll all
box-
make money.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I'm gonna design the
Even
box.
even the Globers will buy it just to prove a point. So sales should go up.
Yeah. If anything,
Yeah.
we'll just send them to Gene. He'll pay $70 for two.
I'm telling you.
Put the black swan on the cover of the box.
Nah, come on now.
That's a good one.
Does that? Yeah, on the back of the box have all the housekeeping questions.
Exactly. That's what we're gonna do.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yo, oh my god.
It's like a fortune
I'm telling
cookie,
you, Eli,
but
don't
in
you
the
steal
open.
from me.
You guys are laughing, but
I'm with you,
This is
Eli.
real.
Count me
This is
in.
real.
I'm with you.
I'm getting
This is
so
real.
excited. Because I'm so serious.
Eli,
Come on,
this is real.
you got the black swan as like just as it is on QE's picture, or the whole just like that. Like
Nah,
and the
people don't
housekeeper
understand what the
questions on the
sound thing.
back. Come
No,
on.
no, Eli. I'm in because they'll say, "Which pizza would you like? Would you like the black swan? What is that? Well, here, just read it. It comes with this.
Yeah,
this, and this.
Yes.
It just doesn't have an R. Oh, you don't have the R in there. No, black swan doesn't have R.
You mean radius sauce?
Or we could make it like 3959 centimeters or something. I don't know. However,
No, that'd be the price.
however, like little tiny pizzas. The pizza
No.
box.
You have
Yeah.
no. You have
Yeah.
no. You have it on your menu. Okay, you have it on your menu. The 3959 pizza, and they say, "I'd like that." No, it only exists in the math.
Oh, and we can have like little circles, like little sourdough balls that we can call them little planets. Like, would you like some planets with your pizza? Like little dough balls, or, stuff like that.
Hold on.
Yeah.
The 3959 is a quarter of the pizza.
Oh,
I'm
gosh.
telling you, Eli, this is real.
No. A quarter of the pizza would be the
I'm
90
going
degree. The quarter of the pizza would be the 90-degree version.
Exactly. 90 degree in one side. Yeah, exactly. It's a right angle. A quarter of the pizza.
Is
Yeah,
Nathan
and if you
taking
want the
notes?
You can't-
Zenith pizza, and if you want the Zenith pizza, the guy who's doing that will throw it up in the air right over his head as he spins the dough.
And we get two Mercators and a
Look,
glacier.
we can have pizzas like half off on Eratosthenes Day. You know?
Yeah, celebrate Shadow Day.
Oh, every eclipse. is
Exactly.
off.
Yeah, oh my god. And I'm making a cryptocurrency behind this too. Y'all don't know.
I love it. Do
Y'all don't know.
No, do
Nathan
crypto.
always
That
got
gets you
NFTs.
10% off the pizzas.
Nathan already got NFT
Oh,
flat
the
Earth
sky's
coins.
the limit.
Nathan says, "Man, I'm not going to start the show late ever again."
Hey, we started a business, Eli.
I love it.
You guys think I'm playing?
Hey,
Three
what do you mean
down the
we?
line.
Me and Eli started this business.
Oh, now here
What?
comes the
I'm doing
infighting.
that.
Here comes the infighting.
We're gonna have a Netflix documentary about this 20 years from now. It was my idea.
No, actually,
No.
Brian's
No.
logic.
It
Brian's
was all-
logic had it
That's
2
the
years
name of
ago.
I'll install it
That's
from him.
That's the name of the that's gonna be the name of the documentary or whatever it is. That was my idea.
It's just gonna be some Discord arguing.
Are we sharing profits yet?
Listen, we can name the
10% for
slices.
the big
The
guy.
Mark Sargent. You can name the slices as good as they are. Like the best slice would probably be, well, me or Nathan or QE. The worst slice would be like our worst flat earther, like the cheapest meaningless slice. We'll call it the Jiren.
I'm telling you, man, flat Earth pizza, that chain could take off so big.
And for dessert, you
Dave-
can have donuts.
The Dave,
Space
the
time.
Dave, There you
Asteroid.
go. The Dave Weiss will make a nasty slice that tastes bad. We'll call it the Dave Weiss.
Why you bring up the negative stuff, Neil? I mean, we were all going good. We were all going
I
good.
I do see, like, you know, Dave Weiss, you're still my boy. You gotta get the extra cheesy. That's the extra cheesy.
That's a good one. See, Eli made it good.
Hey, you know what? We'll have the Sexton pizza. Any angle will do.
Nice.
Yo, my God, yo, this is a franchise. You guys are tripping. Flat Earth is gonna blow up. This is gonna be good.
Flat Earth pizza.
Better still, you make the pizza cutter look like a sextant. So you cut all the angles with the sextant.
Where are you located, Eli? You in
I'm
Jersey
in
or
New York City, the pizza capital.
The pizza capital.
Oh, there you go. But it's a blue state.
No, he's going to have a meeting with some Wall Street guy tonight and raise the money. He's going to write a white paper on it and get some earnest funds coming. Come on, Eli, go.
Yeah, I'm getting my Wall Street licenses right now. I'm so fucking. Excuse my language.
Please.
I'm so serious. I'm super serious.
I bet it's better than that Wall Street career you're looking for.
Write it down, take notes.
Can Eli finish?
Planet Pizza or something. Flat Earth Planet Pizza, something crazy, right off of Bleecker Street.
Yeah, that's good because either way you'll be in dough.
Flat Earth Pizza. I'm telling you, Flat Earth Pizza with some nice marketing, dude. with some nice marketing, man.
No, you have a eatery with seating, and one side is the Globe Pizza lovers. The other side is a Flat Earth. So Flat Earth. What was that title you just gave? With the both names in it.
Flat Earth Pizza. Flat Earth. Dang. What was Flat Earth Pizza Planet or something like that?
Yeah. Flat Earth Pizza Planet. The Planet people, you go sit on this side, and the Flat Earth to sit on this side.
Because,
when it's to go,
man, yeah, the segregation would be so cool. And then, you know, you guys come to the middle to have a little debate over some pizza and beer.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like, this is the kind of place that you know, all of the terrorist sympathizers want to have. Now you guys can have pizza together.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Let me say something.
Just on the one side of the room, you have all Globe, paintings and Globe paraphernalia. The other side, you have all Flat Earth, and then the middle is the debate. And so, there's a table with two chairs and two microphones, and it's empty until one person from one side decides to challenge someone from the other side.
Is this like a play place? Oh, whenever you're done with your pizza and you have leftovers, they can ask, would you like a dome to cover your pizza? Like to take it away? Would you like a dome?
What should
I'll
happen?
take a box.
When the server,
go ahead.
Saying when the server comes out with the Globe pizzas, just keep dropping them on the floor. Say, damn, that fucking gravity's got me again.
Well, you could have it on the Globe side, couldn't you? You could have pepperonis go down, but don't go boom boom.
Well, it'd be like a live podcast restaurant where you have Pizza Planet restaurant, and then in the middle, every day is a live podcast on the internet, and anyone could partake. I mean, it'd be awesome.
A weekly debate.
The pizza has to be really good. And by the way, this has to be the selling. The food has to be the selling point. Like,
this is what I'm telling you. My Eli, I'm with you. My brother's already doing it. My wife is an excellent cook. This is something we should really look into.
It's a good business plan because even Globers have to eat.
Yep. Even though we don't want to feed them, I'm telling you, I coined the phrase.
Joe Biden was talking all this trash about getting people small business loans to start a business. This whole nonsense he addressed the union last night. I can't get a freaking loan to start a business. He's full of crap.
It's not about getting a loan to start a business. It's about getting people into debt. Read through the lines.
There you go.
Lying his ass off last night. But anyway, it's not a political show. It's a flat earth show.
No, it's not. It's a pizza
it's a
show. Now
pizza
get on
flat
with
earth
it.
show. Pizza show.
Yeah, but you need money to do anything, right? So if you want to start a pizzeria, you need to come up with some money.
No, you need a good
That's
idea
the
and find
original.
someone with money.
Well,
Need
that is
originality.
true.
That's true.
I'm gonna do the best of both worlds. You already know.
Nick,
This pizza thing is happening.
Neil can do the
I'm
pizza.
fully funding this thing.
Let's start
Well,
a GoFundMe.
No, you
We don't need no
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe. In the next few years, none of my people are ever gonna need GoFundMe. Like we're not talking about GoFundMes and stuff over here. We help people to make money.
exactly. And I can't even,
What?
my car's still not running, so I didn't forget about that. I can't, that's the first thing I'm doing when money starts flowing in. Getting that thing going.
Oh, Neil, I hope you. You see, the other day, like the last 3-4 days, man, yo, it was like nothing but $20 orders everywhere.
I know, and I don't have a vehicle. My brother's loaned me his car today, so I could do a little dashing and Instacarting. But my vehicle is still in the freaking parking lot of Winn-Dixie.
Your vehicle's at the Mason-Dixon line, did you say?
It's a chain of supermarkets called
What the
Winn-Dixie.
heck?
It's called Winn-Dixie, Winnndixi.
Yeah, they still have those?
Yeah, they
Those
still
been
have
extinct.
Winn-Dixies.
They went extinct in Texas.
They went extinct in Texas.
They have the Winn-Dixies and the Piggly Wiggly here.
Sounds like a dinosaur chain.
Piggly Wiggly.
Piggly Wiggly.
Piggly Wiggly. You're going to have to take a picture, man. I can't believe it.
So, Nathan, are you enjoying the conversation?
Right?
Yeah.
Is that awesome? How come you're not chiming in? How come you're not chiming in?
He's not a fan of pizza?
I don't know. I've heard this pitch, and frankly, I'm out.
You're out. Okay, knock him
Aw.
out. He's out.
All right,
You
so
don't wanna
let's
try
do
some pie?
something. Let's do something with fish and chips then.
Fish
No,
chips.
gross.
Perhaps I can
Americans
ask
can't
something.
get fat. If I can't get fat and diabetic off of it, I don't want it.
Here comes Humble. He's
Maybe
going to ask
prefer
you
it to
questions.
a
He's going
bowl.
to get us off pizza.
Go ahead.
Or we
Humble.
could do flat white coffees.
Black coffee?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I just was wondering if I could get some help in answering a question if it came up to, or that
All right, later,
came up.
guys.
Here it is about we have a container, right? Now we also seen Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he will ask, well, what is gravity? His answer will be, well, we don't know what it is, but we can calculate with it and do all of these things. So if the same process took place with us, and we say there is a container, and then they're asked, well, what is it? What would we respond in that situation?
I don't know.
I don't know. I have no idea, but we're breathing.
Oh, okay.
You know,
I don't know what the container is.
Do you know what antecedent is?
Yeah, it's an antecedent consequent relationship. To have gas pressure, you must have containment. Therefore, we must have containment. What's the container? I don't know.
Don't know. Okay, so if the comparison was made, then that things. Okay, yeah, I think I know the answer to the question I was just about to ask. The balloons
There's no
going up.
antecedent for gravity.
It's not comparable.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's not comparable. It would be a non sequitur. Because how would you compare it? What's comparable about it?
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Now, we are joined by Neil, Eli, QE, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
QE? Wow.
Hello.
Pizza. We did start an hour late.
Good afternoon.
Hello, hello.
You don't need to mention that. Nobody knows that apart from the people in the live audience. Yes, we have started a little bit late, but that's okay. It's all good. Are we going to do a proper session of housekeeping? Because nobody's actually sent me a video to react to today, so I assume we're just going to chew our way through housekeeping
No,
today.
one deck.
Whoa.
No.
What do you mean,
Did you finish yesterday's? Hang on. If you finish yesterday's in full, then you got one deck has a video. I'll post it again if you want.
Okay. Have we not had enough of the space race guy?
What, did you finish or not?
No, we didn't finish.
Well, then we haven't had enough of them. Well, you got to finish what you start.
Okay. I mean, let's just have it from the audience as opposed to just from 10th Man, because you're the 10th man in this, right? So,
What about, hold on, what about the two housekeeping questions we're supposed to have with the video? That stopped?
No, we'll do those as well. We'll do a couple, don't worry. We can get those out of the way if you want to now, Neil. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
No, they're not science.
They're interested in what the sky shows them and how the stars move above the Earth, but they're looking at the sky, not the Earth.
Okay, any scientific evidence for gravity?
Well, we don't know what it is.
No, it's a mathematical
Calculate
concept.
it.
If there was, you wouldn't have them saying it's not a force and it doesn't actually exist. And that's what they're saying today. From Eric Walinda to Brian Cox to George Muser. It doesn't exist. It's not a force. Well, how can there be any scientific evidence if you don't see if you're going to say those words?
What minute do we get to in the space race?
I don't know. We started at the 4-minute mark, and then you went probably another 4 or 5 minutes. So why don't you go to the 10-minute mark?
Really?
Those ancient calculations, stadia is a relatively undefined length. But if we assume it's the average length of a Roman stadium, then Eratosthenes was correct about the size of the Earth to within about a 10% margin of error. And
Really? What, when he begged the question of a presupposed spherical Earth? No, I don't think so. As is shown in this diagram. Further to that is measuring angles. So he's going to need a flat baseline. He's going to need a flat Earth for his angle measurements.
And then, 1,500 years after the time of Plato, people...
Okay, I'll do a proper introduction for this. Okay, so for the last 2 or 3 videos, we've been responding to this video by a guy called The Space Race. And what I'm going to do now, as I would encourage anybody who's responding to me would do, is chuck a link to his video for my audience to go and subscribe and leave a very kind comment that says something to the effect of, Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, love your content, subscribed. And if you want to add that I've responded to his video, then you feel free. But obviously let him know that Nathan Oakley 1980 sent you in the first instance. So that's The Space Race. The video we're responding to is The Truth About the Flat Earth Theory.
All right. So I just want to say that one of the pizzas that's going to be Nathan's Pizza is going to cost $19.80. Just saying.
That's a good one, Eli.
The
Didn't
pre-show
this
stuff.
Okay,
Didn't this
that becomes an in-joke.
knuckle-dragger-
Okay, for the audience's benefit, before the live show started, the guys on the panel in the Dragon's Den were discussing the idea of, quote, flat Earth, pizza planet. Okay? Now, I, for one, am out. You feel free to say in the chat if this is something you would worth or see as worth investing in. With a number 1 for flat Earth, pizza planet, thumbs up. I would definitely buy pizza there. Or number 2, like me, I'm out. Please, can we stop talking about it? Now you're aware of the in-joke. Thank you for that, Eli.
Jeez, we didn't know it was so offensive.
Not offensive. You got to remember we've got a live audience. So the live audience need to know what we're talking about. If Eli just starts saying,
maybe it's...
I'm going to charge $19.80 for a flat Earth pizza in Nathan Oakley's name, they're going to go, what the hell's he babbling about? Now you're aware of the in-joke. Aren't they?
Well, maybe they're hungry.
Maybe they're hungry for pizza.
That's what I was going to say.
Anyway.
So let me just close the conversation with this. One's in the chat if you'd like some really good flat Earth pizza on like, you know, down at your local downtown or whatever. Two's in the chat if it's a heck no. All
Well,
right.
the first answer in the chat is a 2, and to be perfectly honest, I'm not going to read beyond that. Thank you for the opinion on that, Rob, the truth. Anyway, shout out to Jardo, who says, did I beat Godzilla to the super chat? Yes, you definitely did beat Godzilla to the super chat. Thank you very much indeed for the support, though, Jardo. Really do appreciate it.
Didn't this knuckle dragger a couple minutes earlier say that Eratosthenes hired a bunch of surveyors?
I don't know, maybe, perhaps. I can't even remember what we were doing.
Can you turn
Yes,
it
he
back
did.
like
Yes,
2
definitely.
minutes? Can you turn it back like 2 minutes and then start over with this Eratosthenes? Wherever he starts Eratosthenes. I thought I heard that. I could have been mistaken.
Were still so firm in their belief of a round Earth that they attempted to sail completely around it. Christopher Columbus sailed west from Spain with the full intention that he would find a new route all the way to China and India. Or is this all just what we have been conveniently told to believe?
Okay. I don't want to go back another 5 minutes or whatever it was. That'll just chew up another 10 minutes of live show. But if you want
not going to be 5. He's going to start talking about Eratosthenes, so you're right in the game.
He did already. Take it apart anyway. Just go on.
Nah, I want to make sure he said it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Sounds like you got to do a treatment.
Okay, no, it's okay. We'll go
Just
back.
let it flow from right there.
Okay.
200 BC, decided that if the Earth is a sphere, then he should be able to calculate its circumference. And he
So it's a begging the question fallacy straight off the bat. I'll say no more. You go ahead, QE.
did just
No, I'm
that
not
by
saying
observing
anything.
the angle of shadows cast at different locations on the north, south axis at different times of the day. The
I'm
difference
good.
in the
Keep
sun's
going.
Okay.
angle between two locations was relative to the physical distance on the Earth's surface.
So, flat Earth then. You just proved the flat Earth. The angle is relative to the Earth's surface. What's an angle? Is it a curved line meeting a bent line? No. Is it a curved line meeting a straight line? No. Is it a straight line meeting a straight line at a vertex? Yes. So if you're getting an angle and it's relative to Earth's surface, then you've just proved Earth is flat because you can't get an angle any other way.
Then he extrapolated that out to...
Go ahead.
Sorry, Nathan. I was just going to say I did have a few words on this topic, like a little poem, but I can save it for the after show if you want.
Oh, hell no. Can I have that now? Everyone else, shut up. Pop yourselves on mute.
Yeah. It's called The Greeks Play Tricks. It was way back in 200 BC that a Greek measured Earth using mathematical trickery. So here it is. I'll explain what he did. By measuring angles using shadows and sticks. He presumed in one location, at the zenith of a well, he had sunlight coming down straight and parallel. In another location, 500 stadia away, a stadia for ease is a mile, we'll say, He again measured the angle of the sun. Whoops. I'll just explain what he's done. He just measured an angle using the surface of Earth. But you can't measure angles by using a curve. This is point 1, proving Earth is flat. But we don't want to get hung up on that. The angle he measured, 500 stadia away, was 7.2 degrees, we'll just say. Right then, what next? What do we do? We just need to presume Earth a sphere of 360 degrees, here. Then divide 360 by 7.2, that gives us 50. Now what do we do? You times that 50 by stadia 500, which equals 25,000, no 100, giving us supposed Earth circumference. So this is how the Greeks measured a sphere, using straight line angle measurements. Oh dear, oh dear. It's surprising what mathematics can do when you sprinkle on some wizardry and trickery too. The end.
That was absolutely brilliant and perfectly timed. I'm glad I got you to read it out. In fact, I take the credit for it. That was
outstanding.
Excellent. That was so good and perfectly timed.
How do you do it, man?
How does he do it? He's a poet. It comes naturally.
Yeah, but it's really
Amazing.
good. Like that must be really difficult to like actually use numbers and like mathematical descriptions and these terminologies and then make that into a poem. That's really tough.
Yeah, the man's got skill. Recognise.
I know. I'm just really perplexed by it.
Yeah, man, me too. I love it. Excellent work. Thank you very much indeed, One Day.
Pleasure, my pleasure.
Kudos, One Day.
Okay, I'm going to do a quick shout out to Jardo, and then I'm going to hand over, as you will see why, in a moment, to 10th Man. Jardo, thank you for the super chat. He says, if I get a chance, can I ask 10th Man a question regarding navigation? I have a few newbies watching. Is that so? Also, shout out to Uncle Ben, who says, nice poem, bro. Indeed it was. Thank you very much, both of you, for the super chat. Jardo, your mic's all yours. 10th, he's not even here. He's vanished. I was just rejoined. Hopefully you heard me. 10th, if you can prick your ears up, Jardo, I think, has got a question for you.
Hey, 10th. Hello. Yeah, I dropped. I had to join again. So what's going on?
Hey, 10th. Just got a question regarding navigation. I've got a few newbies that have tuned in tonight, and they're curious about navigation on a flat plane. So the question I have for you is, if you read Captain Cook's logs of his circumnavigation of the Antarctic, in his navigational part of his logs, he quite often refers to being out of reckoning almost daily. Could you explain what out of reckoning means?
No, I don't know what he means. I don't know Captain Cook. I don't know the context. What I know about celestial navigation is that you're looking at the stars above whatever you're living on, and it requires an elevation angle measurement to know the zenith of the star over what you're on, the Earth, not giving it a shape yet, but just where it's over the Earth, and then your zenith. So you got two zeniths to deal with here. So if you use the Mariner sextant, you're using the star or sun above the horizon, and you bring it down to the horizon, and you rock it, so you can establish perpendicular to a horizontal, not to a curve, but to a horizontal, so you get your 90. So you know the star zenith. You subtract that from 90 because that gives you your zenith, which is incapable at sea, to get it with a bubble sextant or a tray of mercury. So it's a two-step method when you use the horizon. And so that is your zenith distance, your zenith to the sun's zenith. And it requires two straight lines, a vertex, that could only work on a surface that's not curved. That is how navigation works, using the stars and the sextant.
So in the Northern Hemisphere, using a
what?
Mariner sextant.
What?
Hemi, what now?
Hang on, what? Hang on, what? Northern what?
So in the northern part of the plane, using a Mariner sextant, it's quite, there's almost no reference to any mariner being out of reckoning. But in the
I
south
don't know what, when you say
part
out
of
of
the plane
reckoning,
below
define
this
that.
60th parallel, well,
Define out of
that's
reckoning.
the question.
I think
So out of
that means
reckoning, that's
that
the
they're
question
like
I'm
that
asking
there's
you as a
No,
you're the navigational expert. That's the question I'm asking you.
no, don't storm at me here. Out of reckoning could mean you're at sea and it was cloudy for 2 days and you weren't able to use the stars. And there's a strong current in the ocean moving your boat left, right, whatever, and you're out of reckoning. What does this mean altogether? When the stars do appear, you're still using an angle measuring device called a sextant, which requires 2 straight lines in the vertex.
Right. I mean, we can only speculate about what Cook meant, right? So if you know what dead reckoning is, and you know how a captain's going to pilot his vessel, then you know that they're going to plot a straight line to be the most efficient. Now, if they're planning on the map to travel in a straight line, and then they come and check where they are in relation to where they thought they'd be on the map, and they are not within reckoning, that would be dead reckoning, straight line, then they'd be out of reckoning. But I'm only speculating that that's what he meant, because as 10th Man said, I don't know what Cook meant by that. It could mean anything, but that's what I would assume it meant.
I just Googled the word and I'm presenting it. So it's basically like another word for dislocation.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with celestial navigation. If you're dead reckoning, you're not using any celestial navigation aids, by the way.
That's right. You're doing it based on your known position and where you expect to be on the map, and then drawing a straight line between the two of them, then you are dead reckoning. You're just moving straight based on where you know you're going to be. And then when you check, as I speculate, and go, oh, all right, I'm not on the line I thought I'd be on. We're out of reckoning. That's the only thing I can assume that meant. But like 10th and QE is now backed up. What's that got to do with celestial navigation in this regard?
It's the azimuth of the part where you get the direction of the sun. So you find out what that is with your compass, and then you set to that line. But you can be taken off that line, so you have to keep doing it to keep that line straight. So I don't get it.
Okay, a bit, and also let's not forget that the dude in the video we're responding to has just talked about, I think, Cook going west. So let's not forget that, because I want to address that as well after these super chats. So I'm going to read out a couple of super chats, and then we'll go back to this video. Unless Jardo has got anything else he wanted to ask, or did we satisfactorily answer your question, or did 10th?
No, we'll get back to it later. That's fine.
No. If you've not had a satisfactory answer, then say so. I don't want to move off the topic, is what I'm saying.
So, southern navigation, there was no prerequisite almanac at that time to use particular stars for navigation. So they had to use longitudinal reckoning. So I think QE's quite a little bit wrong there, and the fact that
no, I'm
daily.
No, I'm not. You're going to have to define reckoning, Cook's reckoning. If he's talking about dead reckoning, that has nothing whatsoever to do with any navigational aids, especially celestial navigation. So that's what you have to do.
It wasn't dead reckoning. It was out of reckoning, and that's a completely different meaning. So
out of reckoning.
My bad. I've added that.
Yes.
What's reckoning?
We haven't had it defined. I'm going to do a couple of quick shout-outs, then maybe Jardu will come back to us. So, shout-out to James Richard. He says, to acquire an angle to a star, the horizontal, horizon, must be at least extended to directly underneath the star you're measuring. Otherwise, your angle wouldn't be an angle at all. That's correct. In other words, you've got a flat baseline between you and the ground position below the star you're measuring. That's a flat Earth between you and that position. Yeah? Well put, James. And also D. Rose, just give me money. Thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate the support. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Right. So I just presented the meaning of out of reckoning, QE, for like 5 minutes, and you didn't know.
Hold on.
Not
QE,
right.
Hold on. I want to say he's looked up.
Navigation, Encyclopedia Britannica. Dead reckoning, sailing navigation. Dead reckoning. Determination without the aid of celestial navigation of the position of a ship or aircraft, from the record of the courses sailed or flown, the distance made, which can be estimated from velocity, the known starting point, and the known or estimated drift. There you go.
Yeah, but he didn't use the word dead reckoning. I don't know why you keep saying that.
Oh my God.
Well, if he's out of reckoning, what kind of reckoning was he out of is what Kiwi's asking. We don't know until it gets defined.
Yeah, he could be talking about his mental state for all we know.
Yeah, or the entire endeavor, because that's the point of out of reckoning. It could be a very general description of like what he was trying to achieve to try to map things, that project was getting out of reckoning.
Perhaps.
He didn't see how he would be able to succeed it.
Okay, perhaps.
Lost
But I
at
wish
sea
I
then.
hadn't speculated now. I've just opened the floodgates. Jardo, did you have something specific in this regard to Cook without divining his thoughts? You there, Jardo?
So Cook's reckoning would have been based upon all the navigational markers that he was able to achieve in the north, which were well defined and historical. When he travelled south, especially below the 60th, he determined his reckoning based upon calculations that he would have assumed that he would have used from the north, and he was always out of reckoning.
Jardo, can I ask you a
that's
question?
not using, yeah.
Did Cook use a sextant or something that worked like a sextant at the time?
Yes, so his logs, he used a Mariner sextant.
Okay, fine. Okay, it could have been a cross staff. It could have been a version of the modern sextant prior to the modern sextant. It still doesn't matter. It's still an angle measurement, two straight lines, and you said longitude. So why do you think longitude lines only apply to a globe? They're just a grid system. And by the use of the sextant, he couldn't have been on a globe because sextant can't work on a curved surface. So the argument ends right there.
No, that's correct. That's why I'm asking you, because you're the one that knows about this. So,
well, anyone could know about this. Just go.
Hold on,
I'm
Ten.
sorry. Go on.
He's just clarifying his position, summarising. Go ahead, Jardo.
So, a very experienced mariner travelling in areas that he knew and that there was well travelled on would never find himself out of reckoning. But an area that he didn't travel in and didn't have the ability to use the sextant on stars that were or celestial celestial objects that had been recorded, they would assume they're travelling a distance but would be out of reckoning. So I would have thought that they would have proved the fact that it wasn't a globe.
I see what you're saying.
Well, I disagree. I disagree with the first statement, Nathan, because today people.
Hold on. What I think I'm picking up what you're putting down, Jardo. What you're saying is, if the world is a sphere, then by a hemispherical standard, the bottom of it is going to match the top of it. So if you know how the lines plot out down the top half of the globe, then it stands to reason that you're going to automatically, without even looking at it, have a really good, really good idea of how the bottom part is going to work based on the lines that you've drawn on the top already. So therefore, when it doesn't, you're like, well, it's not matching what you predicted with the globe then, because those lines would just carry on down and round to the bottom if it was a sphere, and it isn't. I think that's what you're saying. Am I right?
Correct. My God, it took a while.
Yeah, it's because...
Okay.
It did. That's flat. He had a sextant. That's all the bit that 10th focused on immediately, and he was right to do so. If Cook had a sextant, then he's proving Earth's flat every single time he uses it.
But Jardo said something that is incorrect, and I'd like for him to say it again. He said people in the north know where they're going. No, they get lost all the time. That's why they need a sextant still, because at sea. Hang on, I got a cough here. Because at sea, you don't have any markers. They do know where they're going if they could see land in sight because they're familiar with the land. But once they ventured away from land, that's when it was scary for them. So that's why the sextant was so important. So the fact that you're familiar with trans or whatever Atlantic crossing statement or crossing the Pacific, once you're away from land, the only thing that can guide you are the stars against the horizon, which is a horizontal, to get that angle measurement. So you could easily get lost today, even though you're doing the same path, because there's no markers out there, except the stars become the lighthouse in the sky for you. And that's your marker.
Yeah, correct. But at the time that Cook was travelling in the south, there was no lighthouses.
Yeah, there were. There were stars in the sky that if he used it, if we're familiar with the story, if everything written about him is true, which I have no way of assessing at this time. I mean, I've heard some stories. Okay, great. 60,000 miles. But I don't know about that. But I know one thing. If he did use a sextant or something that worked like a sextant, it could only work, as we've just said already here, a flat plane. And as Nathan explained, your real question was, those lines, if they warp them around the equator to one end and to the other end, north and south, they would have to be continuous. So maybe that's what the real question is.
You need to look at Carta Marina, which is a Portuguese-made map. It's a very old map. Carta Marina. Have a look. They describe the locations at sea to be accurate, but not the continents. But they also say that other maps are based on land and not on the oceans. That's why the discrepancies. They also mention that some maps are made by the compass, magnetic north. Some others are made by the celestial north, which is a few degrees apart. That's why the discrepancies on the maps. Carta Marina, have a look.
Have we got anything else to cover on this, Jardo? I'm glad you did. It was good.
No, all good. No, nice little nice little conversational point.
Okay. And to the newbies out there, I hope that was the answer you were looking for. Earth's flat, if you didn't know already. Right, let's move on. This is the space race guy again. As it's been such a big gap, I'll just do another quick plug to who we're talking about and share his link, as I would hope people did for me. So this is a video called The Truth About Flat Earth Theory. And we're covering a bit which I'm hoping QE is going to now pipe up and he doesn't leave me in the lurch, given the gap. Because it's him that wants to...
I'm just waiting for one comment.
Okay.
Calculate the distance around the entire circumference of the Earth. Now, it's hard to know exactly the units of measure they were relying on in those ancient calculations. Stadia is a relatively undefined length. But if we assume it's the average length of a Roman stadium, then Eratosthenes was correct about the size of the Earth to within about a 10% margin of error.
Well, if you're not going to say it, I will. Sorry, so based on what? What was he within 10% of exactly? Where's the actual measurement to know it's within 10% of it?
And then, 1,500 years after the time of Plato, people were still so firm in their belief of a round Earth that they attempted to sail completely around it. Christopher Columbus sailed west from Spain with the full intention that he would find a new route all the way to China and India.
Yeah, this is where Jardu came in last time. Does anyone else want to add anything to that? I think this is where we left off.
Yeah, I did.
Go ahead.
It's fine and dandy that you want to go to the Greeks and their love for spheres and quote all these names. It's go ahead. It's fine and dandy. You want to go to Eratosthenes and Columbus. But we're in 2023. And I just want to see the measurement of R today. They are in the begging of the question, past history, and books that may have been rewritten or not, doesn't matter at this point. Forget everything in the past. Forget everything in the future. Show me R today with 3959 Every horizon distance can be no further than 1.22 miles times the observer's height in feet, right? Square root of the observer's height in feet. Show me that today. If you can't, and that geometric horizon is invisible to us, the physical one that we never see, then it's optical is all you're talking about that we never see. I mean, think about it. Why do they keep bringing up Columbus? Why do they keep bringing up these people? They're trying to get us into the begging the question of a story rather than proving the Earth is a sphere today. Just prove it today and we'll be done with the show. It'll be over. We'll all get jobs. They can't.
Or is this all just what we have been conveniently told to believe? At the core of the flat Earth ideology is the unwavering confidence that every single article of historical or scientific proof of a round Earth was fabricated.
No, it was fabricated, ipso facto. If Earth is not a sphere, that's a de facto position that you cannot not hold. So, you have to hold that position based on the fact that you know the Earth's flat. Yeah? If you're saying unicorns are real, and I say no, they're not. Oh, right, so you're saying every single piece of evidence ever created for unicorns isn't real? Yes, that is precisely what we're saying. Every single shred of evidence. I'm going to give Mark Sargent's example, because it's much better than I could ever do. The evidence for the globe is a massive, massive warehouse. It's absolutely rammed full of boxes, all labelled up with things like gravity, Coriolis effect, you name it, it's all there, stacks of it. It's like, oh my God, there's absolutely tons of evidence for a globe. Now that's the evidence this guy is saying we would say is all unreal. Mark Sargent's example is you go up to one of the boxes, lift off the lid and go, what do you know? There's nothing inside it. So you go to the next box, open it and there's nothing inside it. And you go through the whole warehouse and realise it's a storage warehouse for nothing, because there's nothing in any of the boxes. So, yeah, that's precisely what we're saying. Yeah, all globe Earth evidence is fabricated. But what I thought you were going to say you didn't say, which is that all historic evidence points to a flat Earth, as we just went through earlier. There's no historical documentation that will find that will allude to the idea of measuring an angle off a curved surface, because it can't be done. So they all say the same thing. You've got to measure it off a flat Earth, because that's what you've got to do. That's what an angle is. So all of the historic data for navigation will show you that Earth's flat. Sod what the globe's saying. Yeah, it's all fabricated, because Earth's not a sphere.
For the singular reason of concealing the flat Earth truth from the people of the world.
Well, no. Perpetrating a new lie of the globe. Not hiding what the Earth absolutely is. It is what it is, and it's navigated that way. And you've got to be aware of that if you're flying a plane or sailing on a boat. You need to know how to navigate, and you do it with a flat Earth. So that's just ipso facto again. But the actual purpose isn't to hide a flat Earth, it's to foist a one-world religion of heliocentrism onto you that's come down from the Roman Catholic Church. So that's what you've got. You've got a model derived to offer some sense to the church about when Easter will fall. That's what the end result is. The heliocentric model with its orbital elliptical motions. That's what you've got. Why? Well, the church needed to know when Easter would be. That's why. Well, you think that that's the world needing to hide the flat Earth? No, it's the church needing you to believe you're on a sphere.
Every book, every artifact, every supposedly ancient globe you've ever seen, every image of the...
Right, what ancient globes? You saying there's ancient globes? Is there? No. There's this fake art of a second law of thermodynamics violation globe Earth with gas at high pressure not expanding into a 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum. This isn't the world from space. Space is fake. Every picture ever claimed to have come from space was a complete lie, a fabrication, because you can't have gas pressure without a container. And what this alludes to is a high pressure gas next to a vacuum. That's a violation of entropy law. This isn't real.
Earth and outer space has all been an elaborate deception.
Yep. That's right. Second law of thermodynamics violation. The laws of nature are on my side, not yours. This on screen now that you think you're pulling out a trump card because what, some wanker handed you a photo that he said was from space? You haven't been there, but I have. Where? Well, heaven. to look back at you as a tiny dot on a blue marble violating the second law of thermodynamics, with the high-pressure gas not expanding in line with entropic law into a area of lower pressure. That's what gas does. It expands in all directions into whatever volume it's got. Dispersion, entropy, the second law of thermodynamics. This violates that natural law of nature, something that occurs always. Gas always disperses. Except this gas. This magically isn't dispersing. What's that I hear faintly in the background from the ballers that don't attend this debate anymore because they've all lost? What's that I hear faintly? Gravity. Oh, really? What, a bending conceptual fourth dimensional medium invented by a man named Einstein that is definitely, quote, not a force, end quote, George Musa, Scientific American, or, quote, Professor Brian Cox, not really a force at all, end quote. So no, non-forces of fourth-dimensional space-time don't hold gases in violation of second law of thermodynamics. That's not how it works. This is definitely a fabrication. No, maybe it's a fabrication and they're alluding to my trump card picture of Earth from space being fake. Yeah, it damn well is. I can prove it. With a natural law, something that occurs always, and it isn't happening in this picture. Because it's not a picture.
You think dinosaurs were real? Those bones...
No, I don't actually.
...are nothing more than movie props buried in the ground to keep us distracted.
No, all the bones are fake. I've been and seen them. You know, you look up the articles that say that the bones are real, you go to the museum and ask the curator if the bones are real, and they tell you that they are not. You go, but it says here they're real. In this article about the real dinosaur in the massive atrium that we're standing next to. Yeah, it's not, though. It's not real. Oh, really? So why is it here? Well, it's just a big, fake dinosaur in the middle of this museum. It will be changed for the real whale that we've got stashed out the back, which is about the same size as this fake dinosaur that you thought was real. It's not. But of course, on the article that you'll read where it tells you it's real, you'll think it's real. And you'll post that article to me telling me it's real when it damn well isn't. That's a dinosaur skeleton in a museum, alluding to being real when it is not.
NASA isn't exploring outer space. They're using taxpayers' money to create photoshopped images and CGI videos that support the round Earth agenda.
Absolutely spot on. Couldn't have summarised it better myself. The reason we know you haven't given and I will give now. Outer space is fake, therefore there can't be any pictures coming from there. Akin to Narnia, a place you can't visit. Because if space was real, we'd all be dead. The gas at high pressure that we all enjoy breathing, yum, 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 yum. That wouldn't be here anymore. It would violate entropy law to stay here and not disperse into an area of volume it can fill. That would be space. Gas fills space. So outer space, a sky vacuum, is fake. Therefore, the pictures are fake. You can't take pictures from a fake place that violates natural law. So you are spot on, and now I've given the reason why.
They're also guarding the ice wall.
Are they? Says who? What ice wall? Are you claiming there's an ice wall now? Because I don't claim that.
So why do you think rockets always fly in an arc? They're following the curve of the dome. Elon Musk has even tried and failed to break through it. You can see...
Why are you making these claims? I don't make any of these claims. You can look to the government to make the same claims. They claim that they shot rockets at the dome. They call it Project Fishbowl, and then shortly thereafter form NASA. So you can also look, strangely enough, to the government for claims of an ice wall. That would be Project High Jump. Look it up. That's not my claim. That's a government claim that you're now attacking. You saying you don't believe your government when they shot rockets at the sky in a government claim to be project called Project Fishbowl. That's not my claim. That's an official government narrative that you're claiming to take apart. It's not a flat earth truth. A government narrative.
See this with your own eyes. These jellyfish-shaped clouds behind the rocket, that's a Falcon 9 skipping off the surface of the firmament. There's always an explanation for everything.
So you're saying that because you can see a rocket from the ground, that the rocket can actually traverse the gas pressure we're all breathing and go into the area of space the gas isn't filling? No, you're just looking at a rocket from the ground. Yeah, there might be prop rockets, but what they say they do is go into this area, this black area, that's 10 to the minus 17 Torr vacuum. What's this little bit here? Is that the moon? No. Travelling to the moon to take this picture would involve a trip from the gas pressure at ground level that we all breathe, yum, 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 out to a 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum. Well, if we can travel out in rockets, not you, the lying bastards at NASA, can travel out through the gas pressure, then so can the gas pressure. Bending space-time from Einstein ain't going to stop it. It would just fill this area instantly. We'd never have developed gas pressure, let alone have clouds moving around next to a 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum in this picture. Yeah, this white little haze is high-pressure gas. And this is a 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum, according to the bullshit picture. So no, your rockets that you might see from the ground, why do they go in an arc? Who cares? No matter what direction they travel, they're not going to a sky vacuum. There isn't a sky vacuum. So I don't care which direction they travel in. That's some crappy old argument that stupid flat earthers might have with you. Well, they automatically assume that the sky vacuum's real alongside you. I don't do that. Oh, that's a fascinating rocket you've seen. What, a scaled-up version of something I can stick in a bottle of milk when empty and fire up? It's just a bigger version of that, right? Much more dramatic. So what? Well, it's going to space. No, space is a violation of natural law. I don't know where that rocket's going, and who cares? Definitely not space, because that's fake.
There's no reasoning with someone who is just going to call you a...
Go on.
Yeah. I was just waiting for you to be done. So see what he's done. He's gone to the past, the Greeks, Columbus, you name it, because he can't show us Earth curve. He's gone to the past because we don't have any Earth-based Coriolis. He's gone to the past because he knows we got gas pressure and there must be containment. And then he, instead of addressing those questions, which are today's questions, he goes to the Feast of Nonsense table of flat earthers who say all these things, because there's all kinds of flat earthers, and he grabs those and he starts talking about that. He has yet told us that the horizon is Earth curve, right? And the globe math is based on 3959, and we can prove to you with measurement of curvature that we live on the globe. He can't do that. He can never do that because it's invisible. The geometric horizon can never be seen. So how is it ever measured then if you can't see it? So then the black swan destroys them? The absence of rotation destroys them? Gas pressure without containment destroys them? He wants to stay far and clear from these questions today. He wants to use the past, which doesn't apply to me, and the Feast of Nonsense, which I don't agree with. I just want to see Earth curve proven, and he can't. So this is where their arguments are.
How old is this video?
10 days.
Wow. Continue.
A liar no matter what you say, or dismiss a legitimate criticism with unfounded make-believe. Is there even a point to...
So you're suggesting flat earthers would disagree with a criticism with unfounded make-believe, right? So from what I glean from that, you're suggesting that what I'll offer up against your tosh of evidence is just some garbage or hand-waved dismissal. Well, let's just reverse that. I've offered up you the second law of thermodynamics in response to your picture that you assumed, you didn't take, but you assumed the government essentially gave to you when they parroted off their one world religion of heliocentrism, and that was their evidence for it. Now, you didn't appreciate that you were in a religion, but you did think you'd got a photograph. I gave you the second law of thermodynamics. Let's see what waffle tosh you give me to my response that uses natural law to debunk your claim to be photograph. Let's see how you get on. Yeah? Let's see if we get some unfounded make-believe back in response to the second law of thermodynamics entropy claim in regards to how this high-pressure gas would instantaneously disperse into a 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum if that's what the sky was. And that's what the sky is in this claimed to-be picture. It isn't. It's a load of old crap that I can debunk with natural law. I'd like to see what your response is. Is that you, QE? What did you want? A J3D or JR3D? Do you have something to add, my friend? While he figures that out, shout out to Jardu. Says the guy we are listening to is definitely a love child of Not a Professor Dave and Pseudo Simon Dan. That's a very nice sad hom. Thank you for that. Did you want to add something, Jay? 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 Can you hear us? You're rustling off mute. Oh, he's on mute. Jolly good. Thank you for that. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, Jardu. Really do appreciate the support.
Arguing. Yeah, not really. And what if the Earth was flat? If you woke up tomorrow and the government was on TV saying, you know what, we actually have been lying to you. You all do live on a flat disk with a dome around it.
Okay, so we're going to see what you say next, but I'm going to preface it by saying, so I offer you celestial navigation done for a very long period of time and can only be done if Earth is flat. So I want to put that instead of what you've said, the government just going on TV, because obviously that's the standard. What if the government were on TV, suddenly you've got to accept it as real? You cuck. No, government saying anything doesn't make it real. But that's your standard, right? If the government came on TV tomorrow and said Earth's flat, so therefore everyone accepted it, because we're all a bunch of cucks who just accept what's said to us by the government if it's on telly. Yeah, no, I'm going to substitute that garbage that you would accept with actual evidence of a flat Earth, which is to say that it is measured and navigated flat by way of angles that can only be performed if they're being measured from a flat surface. That is to say, Earth must be flat for celestial navigation. So based on that being a documented fact, we'll now see what he says about the standard.
What would change? Would you just stop going to work and paying taxes?
No, most assuredly not. No, I have to pay taxes for the money I earn telling people that the Earth is flat when I tell them on YouTube. So no, I haven't stopped paying taxes just because I'm a flat earther. Far from it. That's not the deal here. We're not looking to get out for tax paying. What an absurd non sequitur. Is that what you think you would do? Oh wow, government said Earth's flat, I'll stop paying taxes. Is that what you do, you absolute crackpot? No, nobody in their right mind would do that. So I don't know why this non sequitur is somehow a standard that you feel that you'd have to adhere to if the government came on your telly and told you that, yeah, people are actually navigating the Earth as flat daily. Yeah, celestial navigation is used as a backup on aeroplanes. They do have a sextant to measure flat Earth elevation angle measurements should they get lost. Yeah, boats do use sextants and the stars and angles of a flat Earth to find out where the hell they are. Yeah, that is a standard that does exist. Yeah, but I haven't stopped paying taxes because of it. What an absolutely absurd notion.
What do we gain from learning that the Earth is flat? And what
we learn that we've been deceived on a massive scale about the fact that the government are on telly telling you it's a globe. So while you figure out that, yeah, it is actually measured and navigated flat, that it can't be measured and navigated any other way, and that's how they build stuff on it. And then you go to this telly and realise that the government is actually lying to you, to your face, about a religious heliocentric belief passed down from the church. So then what do you do when you realise the government's lying to you? Because up until this point, you'd have swallowed it whole when they told you on telly that Earth was flat. You'd have just accepted it, meaning you still think they're trustworthy. Well, that's not the reality of the situation, is it? You find out it's flat and then go to the telly and realise they're lying to you. That's a very different set of circumstances, isn't it? But you're not going to face that in this scenario. Because in this scenario, the government's still trustworthy and have just, what, changed their mind? And suddenly you, the cuck, decides that you're going to just adhere to whatever the next lie is, like in 1984? All right, Oceania are at war now, are they? Oh, right, well, the government said that's okay. What a pathetic state of affairs. No, what I appreciated when I found out the Earth was flat was that I was being lied to on many different levels. And still am if I had listened to them continually, as you want to. Because where are you getting your information from? Well, from the telly and the government. But they've changed their mind about the shape of the Earth now. Now they're saying it's flat. So should I stop paying my taxes, or should I cuck to the government a little bit more now they've told me something different? They're not, by the way. They'll still tell you it's a globe even if you listen to this. And appreciate that the lies of the photographs you presented were just that. And they continue to this day. Does that change your position about the world you live in at all? Because it bloody well should.
What do you gain from pretending that it's round? That might be the most baffling question of all.
Well, it's the question you've got to ask yourself. What did you benefit from the controlled structure that was presented around you in the form of a religious belief known as the globe. What did you benefit from it? Well, you didn't, but you were unwittingly part of a church. You were part of a religious faith in a heaven that you can't visit, that your overlords can and have given you pictures that you cucked to.
What would you do? Let us know in the comments.
I did this. That's what I did. I set up a YouTube channel and responded to pathetic idiots like you. And just in case you respond to me, go and tell this guy that Nathan Oakley 1980 sent you and how much you love his material and how much you loved subscribing to his channel, so that hopefully I can actually grow. Because what YouTube do is censor us, while I do this for a living and pay my taxes doing it.
It's below. Meet us back here every week for more updates on everything aerospace industry and interstellar exploration related.
Oh, so you're not at all biased then? When you presented your pictures from your overlords, that is basically the subject matter of your channel, the space race, that doesn't exist, making your channel defunct. So what the hell would you do when you appreciate that everything you represent in this channel is wrong? What are you going to do? Continue putting the space race logo on your videos while you talk about second law of thermodynamics violations indefinitely and cuck to your overlords with pictures from places that aren't real? Akin to Narnia? That's what you'll be doing. Me, I set up a channel to stress to my audience how they've all been lied to and how they continue to be lied to by a government that up until that moment for you, you thought you could just turn on the telly and believe every word they'd spouted at you. Well, you can't, can you? Maybe that makes your outlook on life slightly different. I doubt it, because you will continue to suckle at the teat of government oppression, which is all this is. It's a controlled structure if you want to know what it's for, as you're asking, not that I need to explain it to you. You wouldn't have the slightest clue if it was laid down to you in words of less than one syllable. Not that's possible. Anyway, we all enjoyed that. Got to the end in the end, 10th man.
Now, see, that was well worth it. It's well
Less than
worth
one
it.
syllable. Do you have any words like that?
Yeah. Quote. End quote.
Hey, whoever's got this video, can they post it in Master B? Because I don't think you went back far enough for the Eratosthenes hiring of surveyors. I want to check it out.
Well, then there is no pleasing you.
No, it's okay. I'll go find it myself. I think that's what he said. I could have dreamed it, but
Oh, fine. You be like that then. You go and do it yourself.
Nathan wanted to jettison this whole thing at the beginning. I'm glad he went through it.
I like when you said it's a church that you'll never go to. Very good.
Did he ever prove anything, or did he recite
No.
stories from the past and feast of nonsense stuff?
No. All he did, all this is delusional hyperbole, just superficial nonsense that he got from Wiki and from what he heard in the surroundings. He had nothing, zero, less than zero, just feigning some type of superiority, but he's just a dumb fuck. Thanks.
So less than
just a
zero
parrot.
would be negative 3 apples?
It's just a parrot. He's just parroting off what his overlords have handed it to him. He's regurgitating it on his channel. That's it. That's what he's doing. Give him 100,000 subs.
Stuck in 2015 as well.
Yeah, I am bitter, by the way. You slog your heart out for a cause, and what you see is people like this dick with surface level research being held up way, way, way higher than we ever will. And when he covers our subject, well, then he'll replace us in the searches. It's like, it's just not fair. But there we go. Such is life. Life isn't fair.
But now.
But with that, you can share the show. That would be a great help. You know, smashing the share button, especially when there's a guy out there that you can appeal to and say, look, right, you know, you've put me on the right path to all this stuff, and then I've come across this Nathan Oakley 1980 character, and he seems to be disagreeing with you in various different ways that seem far more comprehensive and well-researched than your surface-level parroting. Shout out to Incredibly Cherry. Says, good job. Thank you very much for the super chat, Incredible Cherry. Incredibly Cherry, is it? Incredibly Cherry. Really appreciate the support. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Yeah, I enjoy doing them. I've always got limited motivation for doing them at the start, and then by the end, my blood pressure's raised up nice and high, and you're all chuckling away and pleased with the result, which is good, I suppose. Hey, check it out. It's the same image he used. Just I superimposed a woman making it. This is Earthrise. It was one of the last videos I watched before I became a flat earther, was some namby-pamby guy talking about how Earthrise, that picture, made him feel. At 150,000 views. Talking about how insignificant he felt looking back at the Earth as a little dot, violating the second law. He didn't say that. I'm adding that, if I'm honest. Have I subdued you all? What's happening?
No, I'm formulating a thought here based on what I've said already several times. I just didn't want to keep saying it. I want to say it in a new way. It's just apparent to me, obvious to me, that they keep wanting to use historical figures and say, for 2,000 years, we've known it's a globe. You know, fine, I'll give that to you. Go ahead, make up your characters, make up your history, true or false. I don't care. Can you show it to me today? No, we can't see the geometric horizon.
Yeah, but they know who their audience is. Like my younger brother will get a hold of this and he'll think it's settled. Oh, I heard this video, and you know, that's their target audience.
It's like a psychological trick that they use. It's always referring to some origin story way back, billions of years ago or thousands of years ago. It must be stupid, blah blah blah. It's like a psychological trick. Every time I hear 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, or billions of years ago, for me, that's a sign of cognitive dissonance. If we can't reproduce elementary observations so-called primitive people have done thousands of years ago, that's the end of the argument. That's why I keep bringing, every time I pipe in this show. By the way, I love the show, Nathan. I can listen to it for fucking hours.
Let's try him, please. But thank you.
But every time I pipe in, I always get back to the origin, the genesis of the story is my man, Al Baruni. You know, because they can't get away from that. As soon as I refer to something in the past that happened, and you must be stupid not to know it, we'll come with, it eventually comes down to Al Baruni. So we might as well start a conversation with Al Baruni. Okay, what did he do and how did he do it? Let's do it now. Oh, you can't. Oh, so you think he's like some kind of a supernatural human being that could do something 2,000 years or 1,000 years ago that you and I, ordinary beings with iPhones and computers, can't do today? Well, who has a cognitive dissonance now? That's a sign of cognitive dissonance. As soon as somebody says it's been done, for me, that's a flag, a red flag, immediately.
Perfect. With that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. If you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Another massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels. Stay tuned. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video. shout out to Rob, who says, here's $5 of rapidly depreciating currency. Love the show. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed. Stay tuned if you're watching on an after show.
Well, One Deck has a
Back to-
video for you tomorrow. Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about the Earth's core.
Which one? The one that's spinning in reverse?
Yeah, I think he's addressing that. So I'll line it up for you.
Hey, Ted,
since,
are you not,
Righteous-
are you not hearing me? Is there a communication problem?
Now we
No, I'm hearing you now.
Oh, okay, you just jumped in the middle of my sentence. I wasn't sure if you could hear me.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't
we didn't
hear
you
that.
Yeah, we didn't hear you
Oh,
before.
okay, no worries. Yeah. So no worries. I was saying this is directed directly at Nathan. Back to the beginning, the genesis of this show. I used to fight with Nathan tooth and nail about not giving shit to globe believers in regards to their. I think what triggered Nathan was just the blatant cognitive dissonance that of the opponents, and in trying to break through to them, he would defer to autonomism and whatnot. And I was used to give shit to Nathan for that. And then I joined a few debates with Nathan with Globers, and I did exactly the same as Nathan, and I was just I lost. I tried my best not to lose my shit.
Yeah,
Right
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you left me alone and
I
apologizing.
tried my best.
Just hold on.
I tried my best.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, I tried my
Yeah.
best. And
Just
I was
relax
like,
for a
guys.
second. Jeez, oh man. Just relax for a second. Yeah. You were going to be my public relations officer because you came on one of my shows. It was back there in the day. And Betty said, we ought to hire him because he's saying, you should go light on the Globers. Don't hurt their feelings. I said, okay, let's make him my PR director, right? The next day, I don't think it was the next day. It was that night. You were in a debate with Zanuck, and you called him so many frigging names, it would make a billy goat puke, and I fired you that day. That's it. I remember you.
So do I. Telling Nathan he should calm down, and boy, did he have to retract right away. Now I see.
Yeah, guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. So my point of me saying this is that I don't think I've ever actually kind of rolled back or sort of had a feedback to Nathan about this. And just to Nathan directly, man, the amount of stuff, emotional turmoil you have to go through to get to the point where you are, I commend you, man. I commend you 100% for not losing your mind completely and utterly. Because I honestly could not have done it. And I can't even imagine any human being that I know of that could have pulled this off daily, right? It's just, so kudos to you. Kudos to you. And the point of me saying this is I've taken the break, although I've, sometimes, jump in and listen to the shows. And I've noticed how relaxed you are recently. You're
There's no friendlies
relaxed
here.
and you kind of, well, no, even just for me, a debate with David White was like, oh wow, and Nathan is really kind of, I don't want to say changed because I don't want to put words in your mouth and judge your demeanor and whatnot. But to me, it was very respectful way of conducting yourself on a large arena. And I don't know if you did it consciously or not, or you just came about naturally to that point. And I could feel the frustration. I was always waiting, like, okay, he's gonna blow up now. No, he's gonna blow up now. Okay, now is the time. Now, okay, somebody stepped in the mine. Okay, Nathan goes off. No, and you didn't. And to me, it was like, okay, so we're now in a completely different arena where even though you're staring directly at the case of cognitive dissonance, and you're trying your best to get them to realize that, then that's like a futile exercise. You know, people with cognitive dissonance are unable to recognize it. It's just it's a medical fact. They just can't do it. And I think that's a lot of frustration. That's the origin and source of a lot of frustration for somebody like us and Nathan. So yeah, I just want to commend you for that, and I wish you keep that going.
Thank you.
It's not cognitive dissonance. It's in the face of audacious retards. That's the issue.
No, John, that's why I disagree. It's a really medical condition. Like
well, that's fine.
You can't. Yeah. I've delved quite a bit lately into sort of so-called science of cognitive dissonance, and there are about like 7 to 8, maybe somebody would say 8, somebody would say 10, what we would call red flags of science of cognitive dissonance.
There is no science of cognitive dissonance.
There are.
I can prove my case of audacious retards better than you can do on cognitive dissonance.
There are certain phrases and certain things people say that are science, not necessarily proof, but like with a 90 to 99% certainty. Yeah.
What was your first statement?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed your first statement.
What was my first statement? I don't remember.
You said 99%. Something about science?
Certainty.
You didn't say anything about science with your first statement.
Yes, no, science in terms of flags, like the exhibition of certain trends. Yeah.
I think
Science, like
what he's
road
trying to
sign.
say, Q. Hang on. I think what he's trying
He's
to
saying
convey
signs like a stop sign, not science.
Yeah.
Like,
Sign, not science.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, QE. Yeah. You think I'm gonna fall in the trap? No, come on. I know you. I know you better. No, I actually know you probably better than most people. I have to say it, and you and I can talk about this. But
what's my favorite color?
That aside, there are science, certain phrases that people utter that are between 90 and 99%. Yeah, between 90 and 99% certainty that you can have that a person you're talking to experiencing cognitive dissonance. And the cool thing about it is that if you make a list, and somebody already did, I'll probably have to make a video on that, a list of those phrases, and they're hilarious. And I think all of you will love it. And you can make a comical, like a debate out of that. Oh, you just made like a 1 of 7 science. You just exhibited 1 of 7 signs of cognitive dissonance. You're probably experiencing one right now.
That's not cognitive dissonance. We didn't get your 7 signs. You're not proving your case. My case is audacious retards, and I think I still win.
I got your favorite color.
What?
Yeah, here it is.
Mauve.
It's yellow because it's the yield science.
It's not yellow. My favorite color is definitely not yellow, not the color of the Baltard spine, most assuredly.
No, you missed it. The yield sign is yellow, and he was saying signs, but it sounded like he was saying science. So I said yellow because your favorite science is the yield.
That's too much.
I'm not disagreeing with you though, in terms of a level of retardedness of the opponents. I'm saying is the cognitive dissonance is often the measure of the acuity and the intellect of the.
What are the units of cognitive dissonance? What are units of measure to measure cognitive dissonance versus AR units?
I'm not getting into this debate. I'm just talking about like a relatively.
That's your case.
That's my case. Relatively speaking, people experiencing cognitive dissonance, are, meaning more susceptible to cognitive dissonance, are probably less intellectually acute and focused than otherwise. Right? So it's, to me, it's like a general kind of a natural conclusion to come to.
Can I ask you a question?
It's
Since
purely
you-
circumstantial, though. You are
Can I
right
ask-
about the
Yeah,
focus part.
of course. Yeah.
Because
Circumstantial.
somebody with real good talent can still be all zoned into that and unable to get out.
Can I ask you a question about
Yeah, but the talent in the very narrow sense of it, right? But yeah, I agree. Like, this is not science at all. Like, to Quantum Eraser's point, yeah, this is not science. It's just a fun thing, as I prefaced it, to play about with.
in your research on cognitive dissonance, did you find out who was not what personality type, what type of person is not befallen to cognitive dissonance? Did you find that out?
No, but I can make a conclusion based on your question, just in retrospect. A type of personalities, introverts definitely are less likely to experience cognitive dissonance versus extroverts.
Why do you say that? Why do you say introverts would be less likely than extroverts?
Because they get less caught up with whatever is happening in the group.
That's
Group
not that.
dynamics really allow you to very quickly adapt, even if it makes no sense.
No, that's answering a whole other question. If someone's afraid to get involved,
I can answer that.
Okay, well, let me finish. If someone is afraid to get involved in anything, they're out of the study.
Yeah, but they are less likely to voice their opinion in public than to hold on to that opinion for the fear to lose the image or respect.
Right, but you're
And
just
a lot of
describing. You're describing introverts. That's what introverts do. They're fearful. They don't speak up. They don't challenge. They don't ask questions. So they can't be part of the study because they're not. You're not able to say
No.
to
Introverts are not afraid to speak up. No, I don't
Really?
know what notion of introverts you have versus extroverts. Anyway, I don't want to make it.
No. This is
debate,
good. Define introverts, and I'll define introvert.
More focused on the internal world.
I don't really have. Yeah, the definition. I don't know the exact definition of introverts. I know that I am introvert. I know that people around me, I can identify introverts versus extroverts, and it's purely anecdotal. My personal opinion: introverts tend not to pipe in their opinions when they either not asked or if it's not important, and they generally process information internally. That's the key sign for me. Extroverts process the
Right. Introverts all have an internal dialogue, or it wouldn't be.
That's right.
They couldn't maintain it if they didn't have it.
Yeah, actually,
That's
did
fine.
you know, guys, that about 30% of people don't have internal dialogue? Did you know that? I couldn't believe it.
Well, where'd
They
you get that?
literally don't know what
Where'd you get
internal
that?
dialogue
Where'd
is.
you get that ratio from?
Stats I read recently online.
I totally
It's a
disagree
real thing.
about
Look
that.
into it. Well,
No,
look
I
into
disagree
it.
with
I
you.
know about it. I used to be very introvert.
And
Most
did you
of
have
my-
conversations with yourself?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's not necessarily in conversations with yourself.
Internally, I
It's
did
the
all kinds of
internal
things. Very
dialogue.
extensive dream world.
Fine, you're
Yeah.
describing introverts. What has this got to do with cognitive dissonance and an introvert or an extrovert?
Well, because if you have an internal dialogue system, and as an introvert you would have to, then you automatically are less easy to be fooled and slipping in to some misguiding assumption about how things work, and then you will not get cognitive dissonance because you have that
It's
internal
not
monologue,
100%.
right?
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
what a bunch of
It's a
horse soup that is.
tendency.
No, that's not horse soup.
That
at
is
all.
ridiculous. Why don't you
That's
just throw cow
logical
manure in there?
train of thinking.
No.
Yes.
Cognitive dissonance
Ken,
is
I
when
think-
you define cognitive dissonance first.
is when you can't basically snap in out of your train of thinking, your assumption, your approach to entertain something that conflicts with that.
Can someone give me a better explanation?
Inability to retain contradictory viewpoints.
Thank you. Thank you. So an introvert who doesn't like to be extrovert is dealing with it inside. He's just not sharing it because he's an introvert. That's why he's not sharing it. But he's still got cognitive dissonance, but he's afraid to speak up and be made fun of and stuff like that. Whereas someone who sent...
That's not what I said, though.
It only becomes cognitive dissonance when you actually act upon it. If you keep it internal, then you keep it compartmentalized, then nothing happens.
No, it's still cognitive dissonance. It's just compartmentalized.
Yeah, but let's keep it in perspective.
But then there's no
all
dissonance.
I said is
there's nothing happening.
In my
the struggle is within the guy or the gal who's doing it.
Is the moment when the contradicting idea is actually within your consciousness clash, right? That's the cognitive dissonance. Well, if that doesn't happen because it's compartmentalized and you never seek out that confrontation moment, then you won't have cognitive dissonance.
So then it's not. That's my whole point. The introvert. Oh gosh, this is nonsense.
Oh, it is a nonsense. We're discussing.
You're making it a nonsense. You're bringing a straw man. So here's my point.
I'm bringing a straw man.
Are you more likely? Yeah. You are. I'll tell you why. But before I do that, are you more likely to experience cognitive dissonance if you have an internal dialogue versus not having internal dialogue at all? Tell me.
Well, what I'm saying is along the same lines. They are having the internal dialogue. They're just not sharing it with anybody.
Yeah, that's not what I asked, though.
But that's what I'm saying. That's my point. My point is if they understand.
And that's your straw man that I was talking about. That's not the point I was trying to make.
Well, let me finish. You can't hold two opposing thoughts. But when you do, you got problems. The minute he has two opposing thoughts, there's conflict, whether he likes to share it or not. That's my point. Now, if he never got to that point, then it doesn't matter what he is, extrovert, introvert. He never got to the point where the two opposing thoughts existed.
We're talking about odds here, right? It's not exact science, or I've never claimed it to be.
You said 30%. How'd they get 30%? This all started with
30% don't have internal dialogue. It has nothing to do with.
How do you know?
I told you. I've read the stats.
Studies out there.
Studies? Well, to have a study that someone is not having an internal dialogue just ruins the whole stat.
What?
I don't know what's going on.
What are you talking about, man? We were having a discussion about the relation between cognitive dissonance and introversy. I thought it was very informative. I don't know why you keep trying to pull it away from that.
I'm not. You're the one trying to say I am. I'm not. I'm trying to figure out how you got 30% of people don't have internal dialogues.
Guys, can I just ask myself a question?
That makes sense.
You don't have to ask us. You could just do it.
That was it. That was good.
That was it.
Thoughts. Anyone know what thoughts are? You tell me there's people living who don't have thoughts?
Yeah.
Well, they think they don't have thoughts.
No, they don't have. They think in the moment when they do something, maybe, but they don't have like thought activity. They're just kind of.
Gosh, this is.
Are you kidding me?
You're just nonsense here now.
No, it's not just nonsense.
You're going to the quantum level.
There's minds out there, and there are people that do that.
Yeah,
we wouldn't find them very interesting.
You are so in the wrong right now. I would advise you to pause. Without being contrarian, look into it, and maybe you and I can talk tomorrow. But after you look into it, okay?
I can't look into it because I'm an introvert.
Right. So who's now experiencing cognitive dissonance? Right? You just outright.
I'm not. I'm willing.
Yeah, by the way, just because you're introvert doesn't exclude you from being able to get cognitive dissonance.
What have I denied? I said, where'd you get your 30%? And you haven't answered that.
No, you said you don't believe it. That's exactly what I'm verbatim. You don't think that's
after you didn't answer it.
Now I'm curious.
And it does.
Can you stay out of it for a minute, please? After you couldn't give me an answer, I said, no, I don't believe in it because I have my own experience to go off of that. So I want to see the proof before I give up my own experience.
No, you said it a bit more concrete than that. You said you don't believe it exists.
I always say everything concrete. I'm a concrete type of guy.
Yeah.
What did he say?
I've noticed that.
What he said? What doesn't exist? I missed that part.
People who don't have internal dialogues.
No, I said that they do. I said that people, when they have thoughts, that is internal dialogue. Everybody has it. And you were saying 30% of people don't have it.
Maybe we need to distinguish between having internal dialogue versus having thoughts. Maybe that's a new
Yeah,
one.
there is definitely a difference because if you just think in response to things, something happens, somebody says something, yeah, you'll think. That's an automated response. Internal dialogue is when you can initiate thinking without something happening, right? And you initiate, not just respond. That's really the difference.
And I have not met one person who doesn't do that.
I have.
Oh, who?
I don't know their names.
Well, then you haven't met them.
I have.
How they do that?
I have personal experience.
Who? Explain it. I want to hear this. That you met a person that doesn't have internal dialogue and there was a way of proving it. Go ahead.
There is no way of proving it. I'm just going by the way.
No, okay, there's
by
geometric
their
horizon.
responses.
It's there, but it's not there.
Well, I remember the conversation I had.
But what you're implying, proving it, is me providing you concrete proof right now in here, which I can't. It's an anecdote.
You just said
from my personal
you just
experience.
made a claim. You made a claim that based on the study, 30% of people do not think or have internal dialogue with themselves. And I'm opposing that and asking for proof. And then when I ask for proof, you say, well, I know people. And I ask, what's their name? I don't know.
And if he's got you here, he's got you.
So we're distinguishing between having thoughts.
I want to know the study.
Can you have internal dialogue without a thought?
Yes.
Sure,
no, the other way around is true. You can have internal dialogue and thoughts, but you can have thoughts without internal dialogue.
Well, I agree with that. But the same person who is just proven to have thoughts.
But that's the difference. That's it. That's the
let
whole
me finish.
point.
But the difference is you cut my statement in half.
Finish. You just concluded my statement exactly how I posed it.
No. I am. Then maybe I'm seeing you from a different aspect, and you need to answer that instead of your statement and hear me out instead of just your statement. The person who has now, if you would have stated this, let me see if I understand you now, that a person can have internal dialogue, but a person can also have a thought without bringing that thought into an internal dialogue. I would agree with that. But it sounded like 30% of people don't have internal dialogues, which is a joke.
I don't believe those percentages anyway. Who takes these surveys?
Well,
audacious
we can disagree
retards
on percentages. Yeah, but the history of the show is blatant outline of the reality of people who cannot process internally contradictory viewpoints. You cannot.
That's what they got done in Kruger.
As far as I'm concerned, one of the explanations is those people are unable to have internal dialogues. It's anecdotal, it's personal experience, and the data I'm citing, I'm not actually citing anything. I'm just referring to the data I came across. Anecdotal as it is, seem to coincide with the notion that people who most likely susceptible to having cognitive dissonance probably, odds are, more likely not to have the ability to have internal dialogues. It's
You got
not
a lot of
100%.
probablys and maybes in there.
I think it's the exact opposite. They have a lot of internal dialogues, and it's conflict. Like, for example, gas pressure without a container. We could cite all kinds of things, gas laws, and then it goes against their religious belief in heliocentrism. So they'll say gravity, gravity, gravity. So they have a dialogue about gravity. And you say,
That's
yeah,
not
but
a
gravity.
dialogue.
I'm in the middle of something,
It's
Arwin.
a playbook, not a dialogue.
Okay, you want to finish my thoughts, Arwin? Go ahead.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
you're talking about the playbook. It's
Well,
a
thank you for
system.
interrupting
It's a
my
system
thoughts.
they use. They don't process it. That's the point. The processing part
But
is the
Arvin is
dialogue.
right. Yeah.
They don't do
I'm
that.
glad you
They're
waited your
recalling-
turn to talk.
They're recalling the teachings and the textbooks examples instead of
Who
thinking for
cares?
themselves.
Still internal dialogue.
Who cares? If you can hold back from interrupting, maybe we can finish. So you show them a violation, second law of thermodynamics. Now they have to say, do I believe in natural law or do I believe in my gravity? Does gas go down, go boom, boom? Or does gas go in all directions as we all know it does? I'm in conflict here. I got to make up something else. Space-time. Okay, it's space-time. Gravity is in effect, and we're going to live it in the mathematical version of it. So it's the bending of conceptual space-time. Einstein figured it out. I don't have a problem anymore. Whew, I almost became a flat earther there. Wow, thank you, Einstein.
Yeah, you're filling in a whole bunch.
And like you,
like dialogue that they wouldn't have. They wouldn't even think about it. They just go to the next part of the playbook. They don't
Right.
think about things, Terrence. If they would think about it, they would catch on how much of a bullshit thing they believe in. That's
they
what
have the point is cognitive dissonance is because they did think about it. You don't have cognitive dissonance if you're just repeating the playbook.
Correct.
Yeah, but when you're referring to thinking, I think you're referring to recalling. Various
No, I'm
tidbits of
not.
facts
I'm
and
not.
textbooks.
I'm not.
But
I'm not.
that's what
I'm
you
not
said.
thinking that way.
I'm just going by what you're saying.
I'm not doing
Okay,
that. I
I'll
just
take
told
it.
you. I'm not doing that.
But what we're saying is, in all probabilities, if you have the ability to contradict your own point of views internally and have a discussion internally, as most introverts do, you have a higher chance of arriving at a logical, and I mean logical, underscored, conclusion, rather than recalling bits and facts from textbooks, which is what a thinking person do, but not the person who has internal dialogue and discussions in kind of a in the style of Socrates, question and answer, so to speak, internally. And introverts, in my anecdotal experience, are more likely to have those conversations and arrive at solid logical conclusions versus people who are not introverts. That's all I was
Great.
saying. It's not exact science
extrovert.
by any means.
Well, I have my opinion. You have yours. I'll rest it there.
I got to think about this.
Yeah, but it is a study. Dude, Nathan Oakley has had conversations like even before the flat earth debates about this. So this is not totally out of nowhere. That is a study.
I've had conversations before Nathan Oakley was ever born about this. How's that?
Okay. That's
Okay.
really
So
nice.
what's citing Nathan Oakley having conversations about it proves one thing or another. I have no clue what you were
Well,
trying to
Nathan
do there.
tends to not just make up things. So just saying.
Well, I don't tend to make up things either, just saying.
I don't
Well,
understand.
then
What's the
don't
point of
suggest that
controversy
this
here? I
guy
think we
is
all
doing that.
on the same page.
Oh,
I recognize what he's talking about.
I'm sorry to question everything. I'll go back in my hole.
You introvert.
That's a cop out. Come on, Ted. We're having
Well,
a
the way
natural
Arwin
discussion.
the way Arwin is setting it up, I thought was pretty funny. It wasn't a cop out. Why are you taking it seriously? I don't have a hole to go back into.
Yeah, but it's just saying like I don't care what you're saying.
No,
Let's
I
move
said
on.
you have your
That's a
opinion.
cop
I
out.
have mine. I'll leave it there. I respect yours. I disagree with it. I'm willing to leave it there. I've already given you
Awesome.
half an hour on it. I don't know how much more of my time I should go on this.
Cool.
I didn't
So-
ask for your time. You the one piped in.
No,
You're the
you
one
just
had an
made a
issue with it.
claim. You just
And I
made a
tried
claim
to-
that
you-
I
you
don't
just-
care.
You interrupted me. You interrupted
Could we just have a constructive
interrupted you
conversation again
because
about how
I
ballers
interrupted-
think and all
Oh,
that?
Really, Arvin, you find the most advantageous time to talk. I'm telling you, you got the gift. But the point is, you said, I don't care when I did care because I spent a half an hour on it. My goodness.
Well, caring to spend half an hour are two different things. If you spend half an hour trying to be contrarian versus caring, you can still spend half an hour trying to be contrarian versus spending half an hour trying to care. That's two different things, in my opinion. But anyway, let's agree to disagree and move on.
Well, now
It was all anecdotal to begin
now
with.
you've just pretty much painted me as a contrarian who doesn't care when there are contrarians who care, and that's why they're contrarian.
No, I think you care. Otherwise, you wouldn't have piped in. But
I think most contrarians
care-
care. That's why they're willing to speak up.
hmm
Let's disagree.
So
disagree.
let's leave it at, look, let's collectively look if you so interested in this, if you're so caring. Let's look into the available literature on the subject. And
Yeah, I'll get
most-
right on that. Yeah, you know what the problem is? You need to find yourselves a girl, mate.
You need to who? What?
What's the problem? This is very interesting stuff. We deal with people with psychological situations which are involved in what we're talking about all the time. It's good to know and talk about these kinds of things.
Well, no. Well, look, Arvin, even in the history of this show, and correct me, guys, everyone on the panel here, from the genesis of this show, every single glober who came across this show in a debate, at least to me, came as an extreme version of extrovert. Extreme. However, people
Mostly, yeah.
who were a bit more thoughtful and were globers, who eventually came to common understanding of what the nature of the world is, came across 100%, at least to me, as introverts. Like if you recall every debate you guys had.
You just
It's
described
anecdotal, it's my
the
perception.
behavior of extrovert and introvert. You just described perfectly the behaviors of extroverts and introverts.
Yeah,
No
that's
problem
what
with
he's
that.
talking about now. So
No, we were talking about 30% and internal thought and
no, we
cognitive
moved on
dissonance.
because you literally said let's agree to disagree and move on. So now he's moving on.
He's making a summary statement about the whole conversation we just had, went to the genesis of this show to now, and now you're saying I can't comment on it because I agreed to disagree and move on.
Because
But
you're
he-
feeding it back to what you agreed to disagree
Then why is he
upon
giving
and
me a
move on.
summary? Why is he giving me a summary, feeding it back to me?
Are
If
you
we're
giving
gonna
a
move
summary
on-
or are you starting a new subject in the
Well,
same
why doesn't
area?
he move on? Why doesn't he move on with a
I'm
different
asking
story?
him, not you. Were you starting a new conversation or were you literally summarizing what we were talking about?
Oh, brother.
This is painful right now. All right,
Adam!
enjoy.
No.
Someone help.
He's not there
Adam!
anymore, so great.
Adam,
Tenth.
I'm driving, I can't help.
get stuff.
And with that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premium streams, hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!